Posted by you/Master Advantage 5833. I may have glitched into a secret dimension. In case you missed the first post part 1. I'm typing this while it's still extremely fresh. I spent all day, Tuesday, looking for the neighborhood via maps and eventually found it. The neighborhood looked a lot different when seeing the satellite/street views, but the images were from 2013, so I just attributed it to that. I decided to go back with my roommate and our friend who was driving that day. Upon pulling into the neighborhood, we all realized it looked very different. The same island/median was there, but it looked like the satellite images I had seen before. We all recalled the houses we had previously seen, particularly referencing the yellow house we had seen that was no longer there. We were all so sure of the yellow house that we were able to recall a conversation about the house. There was one house that was there that we all had memory of being there the first time. There was another house that my roommate and other friend remembered and said it was where they both saw the person they saw. It was a white house, not the dark house from before. I didn't remember the white house at all, but sure, I could have missed it the first time. However, I know for a fact that I had seen the man by the dark house the first time. There was one house that stood out to us that we didn't remember. It was an eerie look-as brick house that looked like no one had lived there for years. I went back to the neighborhood fully expecting it to look the same way, only for it to be almost completely different. No decorations, houses have been replaced, but the energy was still extremely off. I was prepared for the shift in energy, so I don't think it affected me as much as the others. They both had full body goosebumps and felt sick. I've attached some images here. The first pic is the brick house that wasn't there the first time. The second pic is the white house they both apparently saw the person at. The third pic is the house we all remember, though it slipped my mind in the first post I made. Part 2 has been uploaded. To begin, I was not high when these events happened. I was in a car with a few of my friends driving around to find a spot to park and smoke. These events took place a couple months ago. So I'm a college student in a very small North Carolina town. It's a population of about 3,000 people and the town is less than 3 square miles, with most of it being one long road leading to and from the big cities. The demographic here is pretty much exclusively old people. One thing to support this is the amount of funeral homes and hearses on every corner. My friends and I have always talked about how it's creepy being that it's such a small town, but it makes sense because the people are all much older. One day, the 5 of us pack into our friend's car and start to drive around. We're looking for somewhere that's kinda discreet since it's still daylight outside, but not just blatantly on someone's property. We pull into a neighborhood that looks pretty typical. Simple one-story houses that all look the same. Until they didn't. We turned onto a road that split off into a cul-de-sac. The moment we turned onto this road, I got a sinking pit in my stomach. As if we were somewhere we were not supposed to be. Like we had broken something in the universe or accidentally shifted dimensions. I remember looking at my roommate next to me in the backseat and instinctively murmuring we shouldn't be here. Each of the houses within this cul-de-sac were extremely unique and different. One was a pretty sunshine yellow narrow 2-story house, one was a wider and more full blue and purple house, one looked like a normal suburban 1-story beige house, but instead of beige it was a deep maroon color, and the last one, all the way on the right, was a dark gray house with black trim. Each of the houses were very close together and had different yard decorations, from big extravagant Easter bunnies and Easter eggs to random gnomes to Christmas trees to wagons all over. They were scattered about like land mines. The dark house had shovels scattered about but no holes in the ground that implied digging. The cul-de-sac had a long narrow grassy median/island that you'd drive around to enter/leave. All of us in the car had an overwhelming urge to leave immediately. So we made our way around the little island. As we got around it, we looked at the dark house again. A man stood on the side of the house, facing us but standing completely still. He was a black man wearing yellow with blue overalls and a dark shadow in front of his face. I don't know if it was hair or some sort of covering, but his face was not visible. We sped off and out of the neighborhood, worried that maybe he'd think we were trespassing and shoot us, something you always have to be prepared for in rural North Carolina. This was the rational worry at the time, but in the moment, we all felt an energy so powerful it could have pinned us to the ground if it tried. It felt all-knowing and maybe even evil. We left without issues, but all of us felt the same pit in our stomachs like we saw something we weren't supposed to. The weirdness doesn't stop there though. When recalling the events, our stories all match up until recalling the man in the yard. We all saw someone, but the 5 of us each have a very different description of the person. One of them saw a little girl in a dress, somebody else saw a woman in white, someone else a man with a long beard and a gut wearing what looked like a dark suit. Each recollection of the memory, the person stood frozen in the exact same spot on the side of the house. To this day, We have no idea what we encountered or what exactly happened. It freaked all of us out and we swore to never go back there. I apologize if this is not the right sub for this, but if anyone knows of a sub where this experience may be more welcomed, please share. Posted by u/L. GSH. I think I saw a clone of my best friend? Guys, I'm freaking the fuck out. I've been thinking about this for hours and I can't stop. This happened maybe 10 hours ago. I don't know if this story is exactly a glitch, but I felt weird during all of it. I made plans today to go shopping somewhere in another city with my boyfriend. I was in my hometown, waiting at the bus stop, so I could get to the city by bus. After about 25 to 30 minutes of waiting, this girl who looked exactly like my best friend comes here waiting at the same bus stop. I thought it was strange that she came to my hometown for no reason. She lives 1 hour away and is supposed to be in a college class, and she has no reason to be here, besides seeing me. I thought it was her, so I went up to her to catch up, obviously. I shouted her name eagerly and went in for a hug. This girl looked horrified lol. She was not her, apparently. Even though she had the same hair color, skin complexion, height, clothing style, body type, and even the same fucking voice. I got too scared, so I just told her I must have mistaken her for someone else, and quickly scurried away so that I could wait somewhere else. I texted my friend asking if she has any relatives that look a lot like her, or perhaps an identical twin sister whom she was separated from at birth who might have been waiting at the bus stop in my small hometown. She only has a brother that kind of resembles her, no identical twin that she knows of. I'm not sure what happened today, my boyfriend can't find an explanation either. The thing is, I felt extremely uneasy seeing her before talking to her, for some reason. Posted by u/Master Advantage 5833. Lost the power cord to my Xbox but found a new one in my room, completely wrapped up and tied like it was fresh from the box. Lost the power cord to my Xbox but found a new one in my room, completely wrapped up and tied like it was fresh from the box. So I'm a college student who lives on campus and goes home on the weekends. I have an Xbox Series S and take it with me to college and back. Upon getting to 2 weeks ago, I realized I had unplugged my Xbox at home but forgot to pack the power cord. I was bummed but figured finals week was coming up so I should be studying anyway. When I got home that weekend, I looked in my room but couldn't find it. My sister told me before that I left it on the floor after unplugging it, but it wasn't there. I kept looking and found another power cord that I knew wasn't mine because it had a slightly different head. Same type of power cord but slightly different design. I had never seen it before but I plugged it in and my Xbox turned on. I got the feeling I shouldn't use it though in case the voltage or something was different and it caused my Xbox to blow out or something. The following day, I was in my room and saw what looked like the power cord to my Xbox, same head this time, but it was completely wrapped up as if it had just come out of the box. With the little twisty tie and all. It seemed like it could be a little shorter but it was definitely to my Xbox. When my mom got home, I asked her if she knew where my sister had put the cord when she found it, and she said she saw it on the chair in my room, same place I found it wrapped up. Everything checked out. When my sister got home from work, I asked her. She told me she put it on the couch downstairs in the living room. I was confused but figured maybe my mom moved it and didn't mention it. So I asked her a follow-up question. Did you wrap up and tie the cord? She seemed very confused. She said she placed it on the couch just as she found it, which was unwrapped. I never tie my Xbox cord with anything as it's a smaller cord and I can just kinda wind it up like the cord to a vacuum. I asked everyone in my household if they had touched my Xbox cord. No one but my mom and my sister had known it was missing to begin with. My mom didn't touch it as she had saw it on the chair just as I did. The cord doesn't belong to anyone else as my dad and I are the only ones with next-gen Xboxes and the cords that go to them are identical, but his was plugged into his Xbox. Matter of fact, when I decided not to use the first cord I found, I took his and used it until I found the other one the following day. I still have no idea how the cord appeared or where my original cord is, but I'm convinced it was a glitch. Posted by u/Arisa. Hope. My water bottle disappeared at work one day. I work in the kitchen of a connivance store and every day I bring a water bottle with me. Last week, I had brought my pink water bottle, and lots of my coworkers saw me with it. I had it sitting on the counter right next to the kitchen door, in a group with a few other water bottles from my coworkers. I had it when I started my shift at 1 p.m., and it was there up until 4:30 to 5 o'clock. A little after 5, I left the kitchen to get some water, and started talking with my coworker, who had been working right by the kitchen for a while. As we were talking, I went to grab my bottle, but it was nowhere to be seen. I asked my coworker and she said that she had seen it when setting a bin down on the counter next to it. I looked everywhere I could think of and texted my boss to see if she had grabbed it by mistake when she left. She hadn't taken it and no one had any clue where it had went, so I asked my manager if she could take a look on cameras for me, because my only thought was that someone must have taken it. Even though the kitchen door was open and no one in the kitchen saw anyone come near the door, it was the only thing that made sense. My coworker who had been working right there said she hadn't seen anyone nearby either. My manager pulled up the footage from the camera that had a perfect view of the area in front of the kitchen. She started the video at 4:30 and we saw my pink water bottle. She sped through the footage to see if anyone came near the door, but no one did. Once the footage hit 5, she stopped it and noticed that the water bottle was gone. She replayed it and found the point where it disappeared. Rewatching the footage, I saw it sitting on the counter 1 second, but then gone the next. I continued looking around for a bit after that, but eventually I just gave up. I haven't seen my water bottle since.